The year 1947 marked the end of British colonial rule in India. However, this long-awaited independence came at a great cost. The Indian subcontinent, once united under British rule, was partitioned into two new nations, India and Pakistan. This division was drawn along religious lines, with India designated as a Hindu-majority state and Pakistan as a Muslim-majority state. The partition triggered one of the largest mass migrations in human history. Millions of Muslims from India fled to Pakistan, while Hindus and Sikhs in Pakistan journeyed to India. This mass displacement was accompanied by horrific violence and bloodshed. Communities that had coexisted for centuries turned against each other, fueled by religious hatred and fear. The partition left an indelible scar on the Indian subcontinent. The violence and displacement of 1947 continue to cast a long shadow on the relationship between India and Pakistan. The legacy of partition is a stark reminder of the human cost of religious intolerance and the challenges of nation-building. At the heart of the conflict between India and Pakistan lay the princely state of Kashmir. Ruled by a Hindu Maharaja, Kashmir had a predominantly Muslim population. This demographic disparity made Kashmir's future uncertain during the partition. The Maharaja initially wished to remain independent, hoping to maintain Kashmir's autonomy. However, this hope was short-lived. In October 1947, Pakistani tribesmen, with the support of the Pakistani army, invaded Kashmir. Their goal was to seize control of the region and force its accession to Pakistan. The Maharaja, facing this invasion, turned to India for help. India agreed to intervene but insisted that the Maharaja first sign the instrument of accession, formally making Kashmir a part of India. The Maharaja agreed, and Indian troops were airlifted to Srinagar, the capital of Kashmir. This intervention marked the beginning of the first war between India and Pakistan. The First Indo-Pak War was fought between October 1947 and December 1948. The war was characterized by fierce fighting in the mountainous terrain of Kashmir. Both sides achieved military victories, with India gaining control of the Kashmir Valley and Pakistan securing a portion of the western part of the state. The war was marked by a brutal conflict. Both sides committed atrocities against civilians, further deepening the animosity between the two nations. The conflict also drew international attention, with the United Nations intervening in an attempt to mediate a peaceful resolution. In 1948, the UN Security Council passed a resolution calling for a ceasefire and a plebiscite to determine the will of the Kashmiri people. However, this plebiscite never took place as both India and Pakistan failed to agree on the terms for its implementation. With the UN's intervention, a ceasefire was finally agreed upon in January 1949. This ceasefire line, known as the Line of Control or LOC, divided Kashmir between India and Pakistan. The LOC has remained the de facto border between the two countries in Kashmir ever since. The ceasefire brought an end to the fighting but did not resolve the underlying Kashmir dispute. The issue of Kashmir's future status remained a major point of contention between India and Pakistan, leading to further conflicts in the decades that followed. The legacy of the 1947 war and the unresolved Kashmir issue continue to cast a long shadow over the Indian subcontinent. The LOC remains a heavily militarized zone, a constant reminder of the fragility of peace in the region. The dream of a united and peaceful subcontinent, cherished by the leaders of India's independence movement, remains unfulfilled.